Hello and welcome to another video from thefanpub.com.
As always, good to be back, and got to get pumped up for this one because it's a video that's often requested. So what is it today?
Yeah, so we're looking at sleepers and some very deep sleepers for full point PPR leagues.
Yeah, so a lot of people play half point and full point PPR, so it's very relevant for you. Looking for those bargain players that are deep down. How low down do they have to be to qualify for the sleeper list? Plus
I think
down?
the highest one on our list is 97, so
that's pretty
that
deep.
tells you. So okay. they're going to be deep. They're people you can take a shot on late in your draft that might, return you some value and hopefully some league winning help.
We normally like to give you 5 each, but we're going to give you a bonus one each at the end as well. So we're actually going to give you 6 each. So that's 12 sleepers to think about and decide if you agree or disagree that they're worth a shot with it in your PPR league. So we'll start the ball rolling. Shall I go first?
Yeah, you go first.
I'm going to start with Austin Ekeler for obviously San Diego Chargers. His current ADP is 97. I think it's a steal for PPR leagues for obvious reasons. He scored in standard last year. It was 136 standard points with Melvin Gordon in the team. In PPR leagues, full point PPR, that was closer to 160. So I think if you weigh it all up, this guy can only go up. And the reality is, even assuming that Gordon's there, there's still a standalone value that's well worth the point he is in his ADP. But if Melvin Gordon isn't there, you've got to assume his work has to go up by at least 10% or 20%.
And Ekeler, he does a lot of pass catching, doesn't he? So
very relevant.
He's the ideal sort of candidate you want. High upside with Melvin Gordon being out.
I mean,
possibly.
I would say, as a point of reference again for you to see this is, I think Justin Jackson has a standalone value too, but I think it's more related to standard scoring.
Yeah, he'll run between the tackles more.
Ekeler is going to have that kind of PPR stuff you need for a flex play, so that's why I've put him on the list. Who's your first guy?
Okay, the first one I've got. He's moved teams this year. The one thing you could have against him that is his injury history isn't great.
Let me just move this round so Al can see it, because we're not really doing a good job at times.
So we're talking about Jamison Crowder. He's now with the Jets. I've been hearing a lot of good things. He's been catching passes. He's caught more passes than anybody else in Jets practice. He's always been the sort of guy that gets open a lot. He played in the slot.
Yeah, perfect position for PPR.
Yeah, and he's going at 129, so he's going to be in the 10th round if we're in a 12-team league. So, you're not going to have to pay a big price for him. But I think I'm always looking for someone who will outrun their ADP, give you value, and he could be either tradable or playable, in your flex or something like that. So I think Jamison Crowder is one to look out for.
That's very interesting. And do you think he has a chance to be the Jets wide receiver number 1 as well? It's a possibility, isn't it?
I think in PPR, obviously Robbie Anderson, he's more of a stretch the field, big catch kind of guy. He's going to catch big catches, whereas I think Crowder will catch more passes. He could get 100 targets, and if he's going at 129, that is going purely.
You have to assume
be a complete
he's going to take at
there.
least 70 of those.
Yeah,
so
70 to 100 catches for someone that's going at 129 is crazy.
It's
wrong.
That
ADP is wrong, and you're getting a good price.
So you snap the hand off there.
Yeah, it's just the previous injury history and the recency bias against him.
This particular one is actually 96, I think. So I think when we first introduced it, we said 97 was the lowest, but I think it's 96. That's Miles Sanders for obviously the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think he starts the year off as their number 1 running back, but I think he can do both phases of the game. I'm slowly warming to the fact that he's got that kind of upside you're looking for later in the season. I think the issue at the beginning is Jordan Howard will get the work, but this guy comes into his own, and as he comes into his own, his value can only increase. So at 96, I think there's a potential this guy could be special.
Yeah, so you're looking for a high upside, a big ceiling, and
does running back, does the catching, looking for everything you need.
Yeah, and the reports coming out of camp are saying he's the most explosive running back, and that and at pick 96, you'll take some of that, won't you? So on a pretty good offense, they've got to play the Redskins twice and the Giants twice.
And the schedule looks quite tasty for them, so you kind of like what you see, and the only way is up, I think, for somebody like that. So that's a nice simple one to talk about. Who's your next guy?
My next guy, again, you're getting his ADP is 154. It's Albert Wilson. He's with the Dolphins.
You're a big fan of him, aren't you?
I am in PPR. He plays in the slot again. I love players who play in the slot. They get a lot of catches in PPR. That's what you're looking for. And he averaged over 10 points a game in standard last year.
So that's excellent.
Over 5 or 6 games. So it wasn't a fluke.
So that means he's probably getting close to 14, 15 points in a PPR league.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, this is 154. I mean, any pick you like, basically, in your league. So
somebody's got to be the wide receiver one there. Somebody's got to work out to be a steady person. So
I think he'll be the safety blanket again with people like Devontae Parker, being the stretch the field guy, big catches, but not a lot of catches, whereas Albert Wilson, I hope, will be the guy.
So that's a great pick, and I like that because that's sneaky value. He will fly under radars because people aren't interested in certain... often what happens in leagues, isn't it, is I think it's fair to say, is people tend to target... People always say I'm picking players on high caliber offenses, but I think sometimes you miss.
Well, they've got to throw all day, haven't they?
You got teams like this who have to throw, who are often going to be behind. So I think it's a really good shout. My next guy is on a high-powered offense, but he's not necessarily the number 2 there. This is Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Now, I'm very high on him. Al's very high on him. He's 117 ADP. We know if we're right with this, and it's a bit of a guess. The number 2 at Green Bay, and they haven't had a good one for a while, but I think this guy is capable of stepping up to take the role, is a man who can get 800 to 900 yards, 8 to 10 touchdowns, which means 70 targets. And in that offense, that's going to equate to something close to 200 fantasy points in PPR. Wow. So that is what you're looking for a steal, and at that price, I'm willing to pay all day long.
Yeah, I mean, ADP 117, so you're talking, nearly the end of the 9th round. So again, he's very cheap. He's playing with Aaron Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks in football.
If we're right,
he had a pretty good rookie year. 700 or 800 yards, I think, in a rookie year. Where by no means he was the 3rd wide receiver rookie they drafted in. So he's actually worked his way up.
He's worked his way into it, and I think the truth is there'll be a lot of debate in fantasy circles between him and Geronimo Allison. We've done a video on that. Again, please check out the video between the two. I think this is the guy that wins the second job. I think Allison does have some value, but this is the guy I think has far more value, particularly in PPR leagues.
Yeah, and he's somebody that could take off and really, really thrive in his second season and get you the points you want. It's going to give you that big chance at winning your league.
Now you pick a player out here who potentially is a league steal. Really,
this guy is going ADP of 250. So literally, even in deeper leagues, you
one to target.
I mean,
deepest, even a 16-man league, 15 round, he's still within the range of taking him.
A lot depends on Ekeler, basically. This is Tony Pollard. He's a rookie. He's going at ADP 250. Catches a lot of passes anyway. But Jerry Jones recently, obviously very influential owner, said he could do a 3-down role. He's been impressing everybody at the Cowboys. He looks really good. Obviously, if Zeke comes back early, it will limit his value a bit. But
it's a bit like a Swiss Army knife, like Jaylen Samuels. This guy, isn't he? Does a bit of everything.
Yeah, he's a bit. Yeah, the Austin Ekelers. These are the sort of players. He catches passes. He's going to be a change of pace.
I mean, but the truth is, if Elliott, and it's a big at the moment, it's still a big if. No one really knows, and people are drafting now, so. This is an absolute. If you're taking Elliott, I think you have to take Tony Pollard. You have to seal up.
His ADP is 250. That's crazy. Trust me, that is absolutely crazy. And he's a shot to nothing, and he could be immensely valuable in your league. So
very
I think
good
it's
pick.
definitely
Brilliant
one to keep an eye on at least.
Well, on the back of kind of these kind of players, this is not the same league as this guy because Tony Pollard will be playing behind a great elite line. But this guy certainly proved some elite value on his own. That was Nyheim Hines last year in Indianapolis Colts. Now we know Marlon Mack is not a traditional 3-down back, so he doesn't have the hands. So I think that's spelled out if you look at what he was able to do. He had 17 catches. I mean, just not good enough for a 3-down back. And I don't see much of an upside. His hands look poor. It's going to need a lot of off-season work to improve that situation. And Nyheim Hines benefited. He had 73 catches last year. So
it's a record for a rookie.
If you're talking...
a rookie running back,
if you're talking PPR, then I think this guy's a value. I think we have to put a small precursor on it all and sort of highlight it a little because Andrew Luck currently has a little knock on him. Now that could affect this guy and his value might go backwards a bit. But that could still be sneaky because as his value drops, you might be getting a player that capitalises very well because Andrew Luck might need him more, not less, as the season starts.
Well, the thing is, that's a good point about Andrew Luck because everyone in that Colts offense suffers if Luck isn't playing. So you have to keep an eye on that.
But if he comes back a little rusty because he's nursing an ankle, the thing you're going to need to do a lot more of is dump the ball off till you get your health back. So I think that suits Hines more than it does Marlon Mack.
Well, exactly, yeah.
So there's some value
his
there.
ADP's 118 again.
Nice little shot there at that point of a draft. Have a think about it. See which works for your draft. Certainly one player to think about. Our next one is another deep shot.
Another one, yeah. This guy's going ADP 257. He's on the best offense in fantasy-wise that you could wish for. He's buried a little bit, but he's been impressive, and he's kind of a Tariq Cohen, very explosive pass catcher, change of pace guy, and with it's not set in stone, that backfield. I mean, Damian Williams looks number 1, Carlos Hyde number 2, but this guy Darwin Thompson is definitely a name to keep an eye on. He's definitely worth a stash late in your league, like 257. That's ridiculous, frankly.
Well, I think it is mental. I think it's mental because of 2 reasons. The first one is that you have to pay for the number 1 lead back, Damian Williams. You have to pay a second-round premium price, and I think already he's showing that he's not really up for the job. He looks to me very frail, and I would say there's serious risk on him, even playing a few games successfully. I'm not saying he can't produce stats or anything at all. Of course he can, but can he stay healthy? That's another question. If he goes down, the next man up is Carlos Hyde. And there's something in my mind telling me that doesn't seem
He's
great.
not exciting, is it? He's not an exciting player. He's a steady player. He's a good player, but he's not. Darwin Thompson's an exciting. He's fast.
Would rather take a flyer on Darwin Thompson late in the draft than Carlos Hyde or Darwin Williams by a million miles, frankly. So I think that's another fantastic.
Damien Williams and Hyde. I mean, they're going to be the first 2 up, but Darwin Thompson at 257, definitely worth a look at.
Stash and see how it goes, I think.
Exactly. And
this guy's another stash and see. You'll know a bit more about him as we go forward with other videos. You're going to see me talking about him a lot more. That's Devin Singletary. This is ridiculous. 159.
Yeah.
And all this guy does is continually, he'll keep showing people, and I'm sure I'm going to be right on this, his cutting ability is elite, right? So forget the fact he's not played it down in the NFL. That sometimes you watch things and you have to weigh everything up as a fantasy analyst list. Okay, so for me, did the guy land as a rookie in the right kind of team where there's a chance to become the number 1? I think the answer to that is fairly clearly yes. There are only 2 people technically above him, and that's Frank Gore, and he's been brilliant, but he's obviously reaching a point, 35 years old.
He's a steady plodder, Frank Gore.
And then you have McCoy, who's slowly declining, well, actually rapidly declining towards a point where he's unplayable. And you're left with a decision as the Bills' organisational staff. What are you going to do with Josh Allen, the quarterback? You're surrounded with weapons, which is what they're doing. Devin Singletary cuts on a literal dime. This is not a turn of phrase that I would use easily. He just does. He jukes, he cuts, it's elite. And when you see what that could do for your team, that makes this a PPR darling, I think. And I think his price, 159, that's a potential steal. You could get a 3-down back here this late in a draft. I'd take that all day long. I think that's mental. I think you've got to take these kind of players because he literally has a road to the number 1 job before the season starts.
Yeah, a lot of these are stash players where you can stash them on your bench, and they could really give you value and a boost as you go through the season, and you've either got a tradable piece or a playable piece that you can work with, and it's all about that. It's about putting a lot of talent that can that can have a high ceiling, and
you'll have your stars.
You'll
have your stars at the top order of your draft, but you're looking for those shots. These are shots that can win your league. That's the idea behind this list.
Now, next player I'm going to mention, he's my 5th one on the list. His ADP is 161. Adam Humphries is one of the most underrated players in the NFL, I think, because he's somebody that continually gets open, and he showed even in the first preseason game. I know it's preseason, but even with Mariota was just targeting him. He was actually bombarding him with passes all the time. And that's when they didn't have the other guys to take some of the better coverage away. He's somebody who continually got open for the Buccaneers. Last year, they had Deshaun Jackson, Godwin, and they had Evans, and they still.
Do you think
they still played this guy, and he performed as well, especially in PPR. Yeah, he's another slot guy.
Do you think? The question I would have with him, and I think it's a really good pick out you've chosen on him, is 2 parts to this. The first one is his ADP for a wide receiver down there. You're talking about a guy who's in the slot.
Yeah.
The first thing, and this is in a team that's likely to be behind a lot, Tennessee Titans.
So not much to say about that.
There's not much I can say. And you've also got a guy who's the running back, Derrick Henry. I don't actually trust him to do the pass catching work. And I often think when you're behind, you can't run anyway. You're going to have to look at your quickest read. That's your slot guy. So I read a thing where one of the beat writers who's in the camp said if this guy doesn't get 100 targets and doesn't catch nearly 80, I'll be surprised. And that tells you all you need to hear, really, I think. And that's somebody who really understands what their offense is built around. And I think he's got far more upside than.
And when his ADP's 161, if you're hearing that, then you're ahead of the game. If this guy gets anywhere near that, even 60 or 70 catches, and like 900,
I think Mariota's going to need him.
ADP 161.
Yeah,
it's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Yeah, he's going to need him all day long. We're going to come back now to my final pick before ours, this is a bonus one. I'm going to pick out Jaylen Samuels. We talk about him all the time on this podcast. He's fan. It's ridiculous. Now, we've already put out, we started putting out some bold prediction lists. If you haven't seen one, look at the bold prediction for James Conner, because Jaylen Samuels features very highly there. And for many of the reasons that are in that video, I don't really need to alliterate the point here. He's 148 on the ADP.
Yeah.
This is a guy who has a chance to have not only relevant straight away, they've already said that the offense, the coordinator, the coaching staff, Ben Roethlisberger, anybody that you listen to, and anybody watching how they're practicing, they're using two-back sets. Who are the two backs? James Conner and Jaylen Samuels. Who is the more natural pass catcher? It's Jaylen Samuels.
Absolutely.
Where else can Jaylen Samuels line up? Tight end. Last year, they had to classify him as a tight end. So actually, this guy brings a lot of value in PPR, more than most people realise, because he can line up all over the field. He's a mismatch nightmare. And now that you've lost Le'Veon Bell, this is a guy that's going to take away a chunk of work from James Conner. So I think this guy offers a lot of value straight out the gate, can only improve on that value, and easily worth the 148 value here.
And it's worth adding. I mean, James Conner he hasn't played a full year yet, and he did go down last year. And Samuels came in and he had even a rushing game of 150. He's got pass catching skills. If Conner goes down again, the sky's the limit for this guy.
And there's one final thing to add, and I'm going to add this in before Al gives you his special bonus player, and this is a player that is immensely good. Is Jaylen, in case this point is missed, it is covered in the video, but it's worth mentioning again. It's the point which we've been sneaky good on in this podcast. We've talked about this since February, right? That the coach who originally had Jaylen Samuels at college now has him. Right, he's now in his back
same
there.
running back coach. Isn't
he knows his game inside and out. That massively helps. Elevate you within the offense. Also, as well, you're influential with the offensive coordinator because you're able to say, "I've worked with the guy. These are his strengths." You're going to listen if you're the offensive coordinator. And the second thing that has happened, they have listened because they've gone to two-back sets. I think that's all you need to know. That's how influential this is going to be for him. It's going to be a big year for him. It's going to be an interesting one. Now, your final man.
Yeah, this is another guy I'm really excited about. ADP 112. This guy is absolutely brilliant. He got injured last year, which is why you're getting this great discount on him. But he looks fully back to me. He's going to be there week 1, according to all reports. So this is Emmanuel Sanders of the Broncos. Don't listen to people telling you Sutton's going to be the number 1 there, because while Sanders is there, for me, he's a class above Sutton. He's going to get more catches than Sutton, and he's electric. Anyone that's watched the NFL over the last few years, you've seen how good Sanders is. The worry is he as good after an Achilles injury? We'll see that, but I believe he will be.
Well, I think the difference with him is simple. Is normally when you're talking about Achilles injuries, it's normally the death knell for any speedster. It's normally over. But the difference is the guy's worked his way all the way back into the team lineup. Not just drills, not just like running on the sideline kind of stuff, but 11 on 11, man on man. Tackling, throwing punches.
Yeah,
he's up for it.
Yeah, he didn't believe
Cortland Sutton pretty much said, "You're not back," and the guy just. Yeah, that was a red rag to Sanders, and that was it. So it's like, no, Sanders has made it very absolute clear he is the number 1 there, and he's proved it on the field. He's already diving for balls and catching. That's all the way back. So this is a bargain, and anybody that misses out on this, I took him in a live league because there is a red flag. Of course, injury could come back. Of course, it could. But at the price you're paying, the opportunity to be a wide receiver, low-end wide receiver 2 at worst, I'd take that all day.
Exactly. I think he was even leading.
He was leading the league at one point.
He was a leading wide receiver points-wise last year. That tells you how good he is.
There was a race between.
And you're not paying that price. You're paying 112. That's ridiculously good value for me.
I mean,
even anywhere near back.
If he gave me 8 weeks, I'd take that right now. I'd snap your hand off for 8 good weeks of wide receiver numbers because that could be so useful to winning games early doors. So I think he's got far more than that. And a point to prove and a chip on his shoulder. I like players who want to do that.
Don't forget, he was playing with Case Keenum last year. He played with loads of different quarterbacks. He's always done it. So I don't worry about him playing with Flacco at all because he's done it with different quarterbacks. I don't think he's just class. He's always open. he's somebody that gets a crowd going.
I mean, what's the sort of ceiling with a guy like this? It's fairly easy. Can he get 1,000 yards receiving? I think that's very doable. Can he get 80 plus catches? I think that's very doable. I think when we add that to PPR, I think no more needs to be said.
That's you find another player in the hundreds that could do that sort of thing. Hopefully, we have found a few for you. And,
so these are the kind of guys I think I agree. This is a strong list, a popular list. Please help us because we need to share the podcast, get it out there, talk to your friends, tell us about us.
Yeah,
let them know what we do. And if you like what you see, please subscribe, comment as always, and as Al will tell you.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, leave a comment and let us know your sleepers. If we've missed anybody, we're always looking for players as well. We play fantasy, we play high stakes fantasy, and I'll give a shout out because we do like comments, and we were asking for your sleepers, and somebody did put Adam Humphries up, and with that which was John, who's part of our community. He's a big Adam Humphries fan, and I'm all in with him actually.
Yeah,
a 161, that's a no-brainer.
I can't disagree with that, and I think that's going to bode out to be a very good pick, particularly in PPR. So take advantage of some of these numbers where you can, stash these players on your benches, and at the very least look forward to a very profitable season. And we look forward to hearing about how your season's gone. Yeah,
I mean, like I say, comment with your sleepers and leave a like while you're down there, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
See you on the next one.